So, welcome everybody to, what are we, the funnest, the coolest?
We are the friendliest club of 6110, Tulsa, Will Rogers, Rotary.
6110, welcome everybody. Will Rogers Rotary today. My apologies, there was a little bit of confusion in an email I sent to Tom. He is not going to be here today, but we will hear from him in the future. He might be able to get Mike Sims of Tulsa World to come share too, just about shooting journalism. And over the decades, a lot of people don't know this. I was going to wait until next week, but I'll share it now since Tom's not here. Tom denied me my first job.
Oh no.
That's what connects us. In 1999, I was a photography student at OSU in Oklahoma, looking for an internship, and I wanted so bad to be with the Tulsa World because I love journalism. And I went and interviewed, and he did not hire me. But Tom later on did actually publish my very first photo. It was when there was a fire in Oklahoma, just back in the film days. Some buildings were burning downtown, and I took a picture and processed the film very quickly in the middle of the night at the lab, and drove up here to drop off the film negatives with Tom, and it ran in the Tulsa World. So he published my first picture, my first paycheck professionally while I was still in school for $50. It had my little photo by Evan Taylor, this big flame of a building going up. So, and we've stayed friends ever since. So it's really nice that he is willing to do that for us. That he was out of town. Like I said, it's big miscommunication on the email. So I do apologize if you're looking forward to that. Because despite some phone calls, I couldn't find anybody else for today. So I'm going to present formally about Pause4Paws today, and also talk about some of the future funding hurdles that we might be seeing down the pipeline. We'll be sharing about that. But first, I know I forgot, let's all stand and do our Pledge of Allegiance if you're able. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. You may be seated. First off, do we have any birthdays, anniversaries to celebrate? Anybody want to brag on themselves for any? Yes, Dan.
We had, MS&I got 26 hospital beds donated last week, and I represented the club and assisted in arranging the boss posted me at the warehouse, and I arranged the beds in the
awesome.
West warehouse for the for the team there. But it's time to buy new beds, and they gave us 26 Hill-Rom fully functional operational hospital beds.
St. Francis?
No, across the street.
Oh, it's you.
And the catch is we had to transport them ourselves.
Yeah. There's always a catch in there.
And also we had a wonderful chili cook-off Super Bowl party at University Club Tower, a joint effort with Tulsa Sunrise. And it was well attended, about close to 30 people attended. And Bill Bowen of Tulsa Sunrise was the ultimate one. He got crowned king chili.
When I was a part of Sunrise, Bill was always the guy to beat.
He's kind of still. He's retired. He's a retired ER physician, and he's enjoying. And he's our RILA physician.
Oh, nice.
So he'll be the RILA physician. Cool. And let's see what else we had. Men of Note, Rotary Men of Note is performing tonight at Burgundy Place from 6 to 7.
Burgundy Place.
It's out not far, kind of crossing north a little bit from Southwood.
Okay, great.
Southwood Nursery.
Is that open to the public, or is that
yes.
Just for the, okay, super. What time? 6:30.
6. It's the Valentine's program. It's the Valentine's program.
If you guys are able to go to that and show some support, that's great. And then Patty, I think you had something to share too. Oh, of course. Of course, who else was it? Okay. Hello.
First, we brought this to a couple of meetings, but not all of you have had a chance to sign up for committees to be involved for next year. Start getting together probably in March. So I'll pass this around if you haven't had a chance to look at that. And, Jenny and I will be going to, MAPEDS, which for a long time I had no idea what that meant, but people kept saying, oh, you need to go. And you probably know it's Mid-America's President-elect training, and they have challenged us, all of us who are attending, to participate in Souls for Souls. And to do so, we are supposed to bring, our club needs to collect 30 brand new shoes, that.
30 pairs.
30 pairs, yeah.
30 shoes.
It's better if they're pairs. These are, we need closed toes, size 1 to 14, biggest need is boys age 14 to 18. And remind me, the organization that will receive these.
Souls for shoes, souls for souls, souls for souls. That's the organization.
Yeah. Anyway, so we are going to encourage everybody to bring some brand new shoes. MAPEDS is March 21st, so we're gonna meet them before then. Maybe if anyone wants to, we can set up a shopping date and we could all go to Target and then go have dinner afterwards. That sounds good.
That sounds great.
I didn't make copies for everybody, but I'll email this and you can pass it around. And we appreciate your support.
Awesome, thank you. I will tell you, I used to work for a fostering nonprofit, and boys' shoes are the #1 thing. So I know if you see little pretty girl shoes, that your heart's like, oh, they're so cute. Think of the boys too. Boys wear stuff out, throw them away. Girls keep stuff a little bit nicer. Not being sexist, just fact. Sorry. Mark, you have a card you shared.
Well, I learned that Phil Keeter's been sick. 2 weeks ago, I was riding to his daughter-in-law, Cherie Keeter, who's a mortgage agent. He was just a picture of health in here. Well, the next weekend, he was hospitalized at St. Francis with pneumonia and was in ICU for a short period. He's not home. He is at a nursing home on South Lewis, behind the VOK building, getting the first round of some rehab. He's been very weak. I mean, he's an avid reader, and he's so weak that he's not interested in reading. That's the last thing I heard. So I have a card, and I'll bring it around, make sure everybody signs it, and I'm waiting on the address for the facility too.
Thank you, Mark, for taking care of that. Jenny, did you have something? Sure.
I just wanted to remind everybody, if you have not turned in the club survey that we have out about our club trust, Patty and I are just interested in knowing your thoughts about what we want to do and how we want to go forward with it. We've only received a couple, so it's online, and Patty said the email now, it's been about 3 weeks ago, and it came from you, or it was, yeah, it came from Patty.
Okay, from Jackie B, didn't it?
Jack BB, yeah. And we really like in the next week or two to have
Patty,
you
would
guys.
you mind resending that out again
I'll
to the
send
club?
that along with the Souls for
Yeah,
Souls.
yeah, that would be good. And just, if there was some confusion as to whether it was a form that went out to non-profits to request funds from us, and it's not. It's a club survey for clubs. So I got a request from a non-profit for some money, and so it's, you know, it's to be filled out by members, not members of a non-profit.
And then literally, you can fill it out in less than 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a big commitment.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not a
You just
long,
kinda have to
drawn
think
out
about
thing.
think about what you think. Okay,
Right,
thanks.
thank you. And then, anybody else have anything? If we can take a quick little break before I speak, if I get Tom and Debbie to come up here, please. If y'all wouldn't mind.
Which Tom? Me?
Do we normally tell you when you get Paul Harris Fellows? We're just trying to surprise you. This is a good thing. So come on up. It's that time again. Tom here, I know, it's all right. Paul Harris Fellowship ×2. So congratulations very much for that. Thank you very much for all your work. And Debbie, all Harris times one. Thank you very much. Very appreciative. If we had some like more non-Rotarian members here, I might go through a little bit more of that, but we love the Paul Harris Fellowships that we get in this club. We've been tallying them up really quickly too. There's a way to do it on the My Rotary page. There's actually be on your account where you build so many points, you can kind of gift them to other members to get those.
I went on like crazy and tried to.
Susie knows the trick.
Susie does?
Susie
Okay.
knows the trick. I don't personally know the
Okay.
trick, but Susie does. She's traveling for the next couple of weeks, so we won't see her today, but we wish her best on her journey to Ecuador. Is that where she's going? Yeah, Ecuador. So that should be a fun trip to get to hear about. See, if there's not anything else, I kind of get into our work at Pause4Paws. Is that okay with everyone? Cool. I know a bunch of you guys know what we do. I'll kind of just walk over here and do slideshow at the same time. I've been there for almost a year now. March 15th will be the year since I've been executive director there. This is, the line kind of messed up. There's a quote from one of our clients. Because you and her foster parents helped us, I am alive and we are together. There are no words that can express our gratitude. We love you so much. We get this from our clients a lot when we return the pet to them, and it's a really beautiful, beautiful thing. And this is what our work is. That's Cindy over there, our program director. Pause4Paws promotes access to health care for pet owners who live in Tulsa, impacted by homelessness, mental illness, or addiction that need inpatient treatment. That's kind of the kicker for our group. We get lots of calls, lots of Facebook tags of people thinking we're a rescue or a shelter. We are not a rescue or a shelter. We cannot pick up the dog down the street.
What's your time frame? Do you have a cutoff on it from that standpoint?
What do you mean?
How long is it?
Yes, we'll get into that. The short-term emergency fostering. And what we do is we find a pet, or we find a client who's having some kind of disorder, some kind of struggle in their life, whether that's homelessness, mental health, or drug addiction. They'll go to like the day center, or they'll check in Grand or Family Children Services. We'll get a referral call from the case manager at one of those locations. And then we start our long, tedious paperwork process of filling out the paperwork. Something that the client has to agree to in writing is that we will take their pet to the vet and have a basic medical test done, advanced vaccinations, spay or neuter the pet if it's not already. That's a big one. If they say that, we can't accept the pet. And it's very rare that that happens, because most people do want to help with the pet population in Tulsa, and that's our little way of doing it. Once we get the pet to the vet, then we match it with one of our pre-screened and vetted foster families. And we are really clear with the fosters on this that this is a short-term, temporary thing. Do not fall in love with this dog. This is not a long, year-long foster, like if you foster for one of the animal groups here in town, if you've ever done that before. Sometimes it could be 6 months, sometimes it's a year. They're really hoping you'll probably end up adopting the dog anyways, but then they lose the foster. Ours are all short-term. Usually the least many of days has been just an overnight, 3 days. Most rehabs are about 30 to 45 days nowadays. Max for our program is 60 days. There are a few exceptions. It just kind of breaks down a case-by-case basis because every case is completely different. I was just out last night transporting a pit bull from one house to the vet because it had already been through our program, it already had its shots, already had vaccinations, already had been fixed, and we have this new foster who loves older pit bulls and just hit it off so well. We walked into this home of this lady. There was like a 24-piece trap set in the living room. There was a king-size bed in the living room. There were holes punched in the wall. There were bottles laying around. There were smells. There were things that you can imagine from just that description. And she was finally going into treatment. She finally had enough and made the hard decision to go into treatment. And so she worked with Grand. So Grand reached out to us. We got the paperwork going. And last night. Yeah, Grand Mental Health, sorry, it's Grand Mental Health. And we work with all of them, and it's not a money factor. We don't track income of our clients. We're there for the pets, so the clients can take care of themselves. So even if someone's kind of well off, but just doesn't have the resources to have anybody that needs to go into a week-long treatment for some reason, we're still there for them. The majority of our people, though, are people experiencing homelessness, mental health, drug addiction. Here's just some of the many groups we work with. They're from the Day Center, Grand, OU, TAG, Oklahoma, Animal Welfare, the Be Heard movement. We have connections with all these groups, and all these groups have all of our information. So when they come across someone who's in need of our services, we get recommended to them, including Eden Lights, City Lights, all those groups. According to Housing Solutions, this is a new thing for us this last year. We partnered up with the Way Home for Tulsa, the curriculum of care that the city of Tulsa has set up as a umbrella of all the homeless shelters. You've heard me talk about that before, that Housing Solutions is kind of the umbrella for all of them as far as tracking numbers and outreach teams. And we've roughly figured about 36% of the homeless population has a pet. And I always have to kind of defend that number a little bit, because I think it's probably higher than that. That's just the pets we see. And people sometimes come to us like, they can't even take care of themselves. Why do they take care of a dog or a cat? And the reasoning behind that, when you've lost everything and you find a stray dog that loves you and protects you and will be there for you unconditionally, of course you're going to have a pet. They are sometimes the life-saving treatments for these folks. And so we try to really steer away from people getting upset about that. Well, I shouldn't even have a dog. They don't deserve a dog, or they can't take care of themselves. These are strays that were on the street anyways. People that are doing this, they're not going on Marketplace or going to a breeder and spending $4,000 on a bulldog. You know, they're finding the stray that got dumped somewhere, the dog that got loose somewhere. And so it's really just important to kind of have that mindset about it, because we all see it. I mean, I see it almost every day. I see someone asking for change with a pet. And like when they need treatment, when they finally are able to get to where they need treatment, we will help. We just wrapped up 2024. These are our numbers, 142 intakes. That's individuals served with about 180 pets fostered. And we've approved 59 foster families. Now, currently we have about 15 to 20 pets in our program right now. Our fosters kind of alternate. Sometimes they want to take a break. We have lost a couple of fosters recently because they themselves have aging pets in the home and they're needing to focus on them for a while. So if you're interested to learn more about fostering in your own home, let me know and I can connect you with our program director. Again, it's always short term. We actually have quite a array of cats in our program that have kind of exploded. And all these numbers, in 2022 we had 50 intakes. And in 2022 we had fostered 60 pets. So our numbers have tripled in 2 years. And it's just a constant running of the whole dogs everywhere, essentially. We always have outreach events. That's kind of our big way of getting out to the neighborhood so people can see us and learn about us. We do those in order to try to find more foster families. That's always a big need of ours. We're growing our social media as we can to let people know. And just last year we did 24 spay and neuters. That number is going to go up a lot this year. Here's just kind of a basic breakdown of what financial donations do for us. Because once the foster agrees to foster the pet, we provide them with everything they need. A kennel, a pad for the kennel, dog food, dog bowls, kitty litter, anything you can imagine for a pet. And so we always need all of those things. Dog leashes, dog collars. Every dog that goes into our program or cat gets a little tag on there that has Pause4Paws and our phone number. There have been a couple of times when a foster will get out from their foster, or the dog will get out from the foster family. We kind of go into all gear and work with some of those other partner agencies. I will share a little sad story that ends beautifully. We had a gentleman who was going into treatment. He had a dog and a cat. Our case manager went over there to the pets. And another issue we have is that the pet can't be aggressive, because we don't want to put that risk on any of our foster families. When we went there, the dog is a little Chihuahua, pretty old Chihuahua, you can imagine. Had a little attitude, this Chihuahua. It kind of already had a semi-foster set up for them that the person done themselves, so we weren't able to take their dog. We were able to take their cat. And so we placed the cat with a foster, a new foster of ours that we hadn't used before, and she had an apartment near 71st and Riverside. And she calls us the second day, in the middle of the night, the cat darted out the front door. And then it snowed 3 inches that night. So the team of our team of 3, we're a staff of 3, myself included, we're out at this apartment complex with signs, and we'd set up a camera on her porch to detect motion sensors, put the kitty litter outside and the food outside, trying to lure this cat in. Our case manager saw some tracks by a garage, and so we were trying to find it. We couldn't find it. So the next day, our program director, Cindy, we talked, and she goes, you know what? He's only going to be in for a week. Let's board his dog, because aggressive dogs we can't play with foster. So let's board the dog for him. It's an older dog. It should be fine for a week. So she goes to pick up the older dog, gets it in the kennel, and gets it to the vet. And the vet looks at this dog and goes, this dog should have been put down a week ago. It is not in good health. It is congestive heart failure, and if you would have brought this dog to me 2 weeks ago, I would have suggested it to be put down. So we contacted the owner, the client, to tell him the sad news. We'd already told him his cat had gotten out. He was not surprised by that. He said she does that, but she always comes back. And so in this horrible situation, we're going to have to put this dog down, and his cat is gone. And so we call him to tell him this. He's of course upset, but not angry. He admitted he didn't know how old the dog was, and he admitted to it, thinks it's been going downhill for a while. So he agreed, and we had the pet euthanized. 2 days later, we get a phone call from a kid in a park at like 51st and Lewis. I think I found your cat. And we're like, okay, can you send a picture? And it was literally a 7-year-old kid with his 13-year-old brother at a park and had found the cat. And so he grabs the cat and he runs all the way to his mom's house while he's on the phone with our case manager, just huffing and puffing. And we get there and it turns out it is the cat. And we were thrilled, and we were able to contact the client again. And when he got out, we were able to reunite him with his cat. And he just said, thank you guys. He said, I couldn't make the decision, and I didn't have the money to put my dog down. So we knew at this point, he was just at that point where he had to let go. And we were able to be there for him and to give him the collar and the leash of his dog, and then also return his cat to him. And he has since moved into some temporary housing, we believe, so we're hoping that will continue to progress. We work with groups like Eden Village and the city shelters and stuff, trying to encourage groups to allow pets in. The one treatment we cannot do is sober living. That is one of the hardest ones to find fosters for, because most of the sober living facilities in Tulsa do not accept pets. Some of them do, but very few do, because it's an insurance issue, a liability for the other people in the room. And sober living can be 3 months, it can be a year, it can be 2 years, and we just can't do that. We're not in capacity to do that. We're very original and only in Tulsa. We're the only ones in Oklahoma we know of. There is a group in Dallas that does similar work, and there's one in Denver that does similar work as well. But I'm hoping that one day we'll be able to take Pause4Paws and be able to put a little package around it, be able to send it to Oklahoma City and be like, here's the steps to get this started in your city. Because we get calls from all over the country, what do you do? And we're like, oh, it's amazing, I didn't know we did that. That's what we do. And it's our only program as well. I know I mentioned about funding earlier. Let me get this last slide though first. Yeah. I know we discussed it some last week, or a week before, we have a local policy here. With the way the government is working on federal of shaky ground for everybody right now. Everyone in the nonprofit sector is kind of nervous. And let me just kind of give you a personal breakdown of how this would affect Pause4Paws. We directly do not receive funding from the federal or the city. So we don't get any money from any of that. So we're okay with that. But for example, I know of a shelter downtown that receives nearly $4 million in federal grants and city grants to combat homelessness. If, for example, that funding goes away, they will reach out to our local group and will be asking for larger amounts of money. When we get grants, one of our highest grants we get is $30,000 a year. We've gotten some more or less over the years. So we're not a huge organization. Like I said, there's only 3. But when you have a shelter downtown serving 300 to 400 people a day, and they need the extra $4 million from a local foundation, they're going to go that direction. So we're kind of pivoting a little bit on our ask. We're seeking out for more fundings and trying out new groups, new organizations that would be able to fund us moving forward. Last year we got a grant from QT for the first time. We got a grant from St. Francis for the first time. This year we got one from the Stevenson Foundation, and working on some others. I have a meeting Friday with another group trying to get that going. So if you have any connections with any of the local philanthropic foundation groups that you wouldn't be a conflict of interest for you to share that with me or make a connection, or if you work for a big organization or company that does sponsorship, like Williams is one of our sponsors of our Party with Pause we have coming up. We have our trivia night that most of you came to last year, which was a blast. We outgrew our space, so we're having to find a newer, bigger space, which is bigger money to pay for. So it's just kind of how the breakdown of that goes. We're hoping that everything will work out smoothly with those grants, so that we can keep doing the work that we do here. So I kind of went back into Rotary president, friend mode, and talking about Pause4Paws, so I won't bore you too much. Y'all got any questions or anything? Yes, ma'am.
How many cooperating vets do you have?
We partner with about, I don't have the exact number, it's over 20. And with some of them give us discounts, but a lot of them can't because they've got to make their bottom line too.
So do you use stale pay?
Yes. The only issue is we love Spay Oklahoma, but we have to kind of get in on their events when they have openings for spay and neuters. And sometimes that doesn't work for our time frame of getting the pet to foster in time. So we do use them when we can. But for the most part, we end up having to pay out of pocket for a spay or neuter. And they'll trim a bath. Most of them need baths. And just some general maintenance. About $300 is what it costs on average to put one of the pets through our program. Just to initially get them in there. That's not the food and kennel and everything else that adds into that. Yeah. But we do work with them. We love them. We're always open to more too. But they get asked a lot, as you can imagine. For, give me a discount, give me a deal. And it's like, we're running a business here too. You know, we got to pay our people. But they are wonderful to us. Alta Vista is one of our favorite ones, one of our best ones that we probably go to the most. And we went through there the other day and they had 30 dogs dropped off from breeder and hominy, I believe. And so, pets in Tulsa, I kind of look at the people experiencing homelessness, this just personally, it's kind of saving these pets. Because if not, they probably end up in the pound and euthanized. Or, there's nothing wrong with them most of the time. And you'll find no better dedicated dog than one who's been sleeping on the streets with their owner for the past 2 years. They're guarded, but they're safe and they're protective. And the biggest need we have for fosters are always big dog fosters, especially pit bulls. You can imagine we get a lot of those. But I will tell you, 99% of the time the pit bulls we get, they're the best dogs. I mean, they're just strong. You just have to be able to work with them. They have a strong bite and they're pretty tight on a leash. But like I said, for the most part, they are just happy-go-lucky and their whole body shakes when they see them. I wish I had some videos prepared to show you some of our reunion videos. that we shoot of people when they get reunited with their pets. It's just the most beautiful thing. And I can probably email some of those out, or you can find them on our Facebook page as well. Anything else? I know it's gonna be a short and sweet one because you guys already know I talk about this stuff all the time, but just want to kind of give you a recap of what we're working on and how we're moving forward and what our plans are to do next. We just hired on our third case manager, or no, first case manager, but third employee just in December.
If you're
And
looking for a space
for
for your organization to work on.
we don't want to have it's just too much overhead for us. We all work from our homes because we deal mostly with going to pick up the pet, take it to the vet, get it to a foster. And I just don't want to get into the whole brick and mortar of it all. We're looking at purchasing a vehicle this year. We're actually waiting to hear back from a Rotary grant. We can from a certain big Rotary downtown to see about purchasing a vehicle. Haven't heard about it yet. That will help us out tremendously if we can do that, because we use our own personal vehicles for all of this. Even my new little cool EV, I bought it knowing I could fit a large crate in the back, and did my first pet transport in my new car last night with that pit bull, and it was just the sweetest thing. We took that dog, was scared, shaky, on a leash, put it in the car, got to the foster, and the foster's home was clean. It was nice, it was well temperatured, had a fenced backyard, and by the time I left the foster's house, the dog was on the couch and getting belly rubs. So it's kind of a little relief break sometimes for these pets too, to be able to get into a nicer place, maybe for a little while. But we do always return the pets to their clients. So we always make sure we tell our fosters, don't fall in love. You can fall in like, but don't fall in love. Because the dog is going back. The cat is going back. My mom kept 2 cats for us 2 different times. She kept one for a week. And then when the lady got out, it turns out she was just stuck in crisis care for a week. She couldn't even get into the rehab she wanted to get in, or she needed to get into. So we had her for a week, and then we moved the cats with her to a hotel room for a week, working with, I think this one was Family Children's Services. And then she called us back a few days later, like, okay, they finally got a room for me. Can that lady keep my cats again? Like, yeah, we can. And we do keep a distance. The foster never knows the client never knows the foster. And that's where we come in, because we send pictures back and forth. It's just more of a safety issue. We don't want someone to see a picture of their dog and the foster family's face on Facebook or anything like that. So you were kept safe as a foster family and kept protected by us. And you can send us pics, and we would send it on to the client just so they can see how their pet's doing. Anything else? Okay, well, great. We do have some future plans going on. Dan, if you want to bring that up, I'm finishing that up. Patty, I love the idea of going shoe shopping and dinner. And then Susie and I have been talking about putting together a little bowling night one night. Maybe invite Sunrise to that, since they seem to be our partners in crime lately. Maybe have a little contest between the 2 of us or something like that. That could be kind of fun. All right. Whose numbers am I supposed to call out? Not Stan's, right?
Not again.
916. Last 3 digits. 916. If you don't claim it, I get to keep it. Oh. Why do you put them up? You need to leave them out.
Oh, it's me.
Oh. You handed me this. I didn't know. Congratulations, sir. Oh, thank you very much. That's nice. Okay, thank you very much. Awesome. Yeah.
Oh, careful.